In the year 1945, as the Second World War drew to a close, Germany was in the throes of a difficult period with its power declining and nearing an end. But the brutality of the Nazi SS did not diminish. A man named Maser deserted because of the war. He wanted to stay alive to take care of his only surviving daughter, but his God-fearing compatriots refused to let him go. As if enjoying a brutal game of hunting, the Nazis pursued him with heavy machine gun fire. He ran desperately deeper into the forest, attempting to hide among the thick trees, but a bullet grazed the squad leader's ear, and Maser was captured by the pursuing SS. The commander, Morning Puma, was a brutal figure kneeling before him. During the interrogation, Maser reluctantly admitted that he had never wanted to fight. He was sentenced to death, as was customary. In retaliation, the squad leader tied the rope in a way that ensured Mathur would suffer a slow and painful hanging. As the truck drove away, indifferent soldiers looked on while Mathur, on the verge of suffocation, hallucinated the sight of her beloved daughter. Just as she was about to die, a woman cut the rope and dragged Mathur back to town. The woman, named Sally, who had lived through the war with her brother, saved Mathur because she was sick of the Nazis. Under her brother's care, Mathur's wounded neck gradually healed. Meanwhile, Morning Puma and his party arrived in town. They had learned that a Jewish family once lived there and were told that the family had hidden a large quantity of gold bullion. Morning Puma came to find this gold, but his team also needed resupplies, so the old man in charge was taken back to town. The law was enforced house by house, and coincidentally, the first one they searched was Sally's. Without saying a word, the soldiers barged into the house. Sally had a gun but didn't dare to use it. She could only pray that they would spare her and her brother. However, the captain of the unit, who had been captivated by Sally's beauty, forced his way into the house and pinned her against the table. Seeing this, Mathur rushed in, killing one of the subordinates and starting a brutal fight. The captain, unable to pull up his pants, tried to flee, but Sally quickly poured a pot of boiling water on him, scalding him severely. One of his men rushed in, but Mathur knocked him down as well. The captain grabbed a machine gun and fired, but missed. In the chaos, Mathur pushed the captain out of the window. The remaining soldier, unable to pull up his pants in time, hurriedly jumped into a car and sped away to save his own life. As soon as Mathur had killed one of the soldiers, although the crisis was temporarily over, it was clear that the Nazis could not stay there any longer. Mathur and the two sisters quickly gathered their equipment and withdrew. The three of them walked until late at night, when they dared to stop and rest. However, at dawn they realized Sully's foolish brother was missing. He had been captured by the squad captain, who returned for revenge. The captain shot a cow, set fire to a house, and decided to kill the policeman. Not only did he call the press, but he also hung a sign on the brother's chest to humiliate him. The town pastor who tried to intervene was knocked down with a single blow. But before his death, the foolish brother pushed a Nazi off the mezzanine and then raised his gun, firing a volley of bullets that killed two Nazis. The room was stunned. Mathur and Sully rushed to save the brother, unaware that the bereaved man downstairs had prepared to shoot. He pulled out a sniper rifle, adjusted the 8x lens, aimed at his target, and with a single shot, the foolish brother collapsed. Overcome with grief, Sully charged at the bereaved man like the wind. Mathur followed and immediately knelt, pretending to surrender. At that moment, the squad leader spotted Mathur at the church door, launching an attack. Mathur retreated towards the building, threw a grenade, and a fierce battle erupted inside the church. Realizing he was trapped, Mathur decided to use a grenade to blow up the roof and escape. Amid the gunfire, he jumped from the top of the building. After a human scan, the bullets were depleted, allowing the two sides to finally engage in close combat. Mathur, after making his escape, arrived at an elderly woman's house. There, he was shot in the leg by Ricci, who sacrificed her life to tend to his wound. Before leaving, the pastor revealed the shocking news that the gold the Nazis were seeking had been hidden in the church all along. Despite Mourner Pugh's unattractive appearance, he reattached his ring finger and conversed with Mathur late into the night. While Mourner Pugh slept, Sully attempted to intercept him with a gun. However, knowing the other man was highly alert, Sully found no chance to act. As she was preparing to strike, she noticed Mourner Pugh wearing an unusual ring on his finger. The situation was resolved in a matter of moments. It fell to the ground and Sally carefully searched for the pills. Morning Pugh suddenly woke up, and without hesitation Sally placed the poison in her mouth, then kissed Morning Pugh, who was only halfway awake. As Morning Payu enjoyed the moment, Sally slipped the pills into his mouth. It was only when the taste changed that Morning Payu realized something was wrong, but by then, Sally had already blown smoke into his face. The Nazi squad leader, still relaxing in the restaurant, was startled by a loud noise and dropped to his knees, thinking it was an enemy attack. However, a gold brick was thrown into the room. Unbeknownst to him, Sally had already escaped and was attempting to trade the gold brick. The squad leader reported to Puma, only to find a cold corpse. Since Puma was already dead, the squad leader naturally assumed the role of the new big shot. The old lady, pretending to be Sally, threw a grenade while Masur wasn't paying attention. Masur was stunned, and upon regaining consciousness, was forced to lead the way to the church. Along the way, he was picked up by a woman from the town who knew the gold was hidden at the pastor's house. She anticipated that the Nazis would fight Masur to the death, allowing her to take advantage and steal the gold. But the Nazis were waiting, like a predator eyeing its prey. Little did they know that Masur and the pastor had planned everything. As soon as someone saw the gold, death was certain. The squad leader was ecstatic at the sight of the gold. Just as he was about to offload it, Sully, who was outside, set up his anti-tank grenade launcher. With a loud bang, a bell fell on one of the Nazis' heads, killing him instantly. Then the counterattack began. Ricci had brought in his reinforcements, who, despite their age, managed to solve a large part of the problem without firing a single shot. As for the protagonist of the film, he successfully escaped from the enemy's stronghold when the old woman was suddenly attacked by the squad leader, who was about to crush her throat with his rifle. No one expected that the old woman would still be able to stab the squad leader in the stomach, but she was killed by Nazis hiding in the shadows. She looked at the crane in the distance and quickly devised a plan. She fired her gun, causing Warren to move, and as he took cover, she shot again, intercepting him and firing at the enemy. When the squad leader wasn't looking, a gold brick was thrown at him, killing him. "You gave me the gold and I took it." With the death of the squad leader, the bloodshed came to an end. Marcel and Sully reunited and left the scene without taking a single piece of gold. The story, however, didn't end there. 2 prisoners had survived, one of them a Nazi. The other was a wealthy woman from the town. The rich woman made a clever sneak attack from behind and managed to escape with a large amount of blood-stained gold. But in the next moment, as she drove away in a Nazi vehicle, American soldiers mistook her for a Nazi and had her disarmed. Shortly after, Mathis returned home with the help of Sully, finally reuniting with the daughter she had missed for so long. As a low-budget anti-war film, it portrayed the brutality of war in a unique way. While the sounds of the battles and montages were shown, the film also skillfully incorporated elements of comic relief, such as the sight of Ginger in the snow and misplaced bullets, details not to be missed. Though the plot may be somewhat cliched, the film successfully highlights human greed in its most extreme form. The protagonist's successful escape, however, is not intended to glorify the actions of a deserter, but rather serves as a deep reflection on war, warning the audience of its cruelty and the destruction it brings to human nature. Well, that's all for today's movie. See you next time.